history and discovered that my great-grandmother had 4 brothers, and 3 were killed in the war and 1 survived, but he committed suicide afterwards. And the 3 brothers are these 3 here, and we've got Elias, who was in the Royal Army Medical Corps, and he's buried up near Treeport on the coast, and he died of gas and wounds in 1918. David, he was in the Pembrokeshire Yeomanry, and he died of wounds in 1915, and he's actually buried back in Wales. And then John is the one here, and he was in the 17th Battalion, the Welsh Regiment, and he died on the 24th of April 1917. And I can tell you what happened to him, because in the history of the regiment, if I go through, basically they came over to France. The battalion came to France as part of the 119th Brigade, Infantry Brigade, and that was the Welsh Regiment, South Wales Borderers. I think the Surreys were there as well, and also I think there might have been a battalion, the Black Watch as well within that, and they were based in this area. And this was part of the Hindenburg line where the Germans retreated to this area because they made some huge defences. It took them a week to get their way up here to relieve the other battalion that was holding this front up this side, running from here to the Vaccarie, which is, I think, it's the other side of those trees over that side, and the Hindenburg line ran along this ridge all the way down there. And the 17th Battalion came up from the road that we were on, and they basically came from a place called Finn, which is down that way, and they spent a week getting here, and they spent their time repairing roads and that sort of stuff as they got here. And when they got to this part, they relieved the South Wales Borderers who were watching this line. There's a second, on top of this ridge was the actual front line of the British, and then just behind that was the secondary line. And the 17th Battalion moved into that line ready for the attack on the 24th of April. And I'll just go through what they say in the history. It's only a short bit here. But the attack commenced at 4:15 AM on the 24th of April. Met with little opposition. The 17th Welsh had to make an advance of about a mile and dig themselves in on the top of the spur. Yeah. 600 yards east of Villiers Plush, which is the village over there. You can see the spire of the church. And west of the Vaccarie, which lies in a dip. The battalion was held up by uncut wire just in front of its objective, and also came under machine gun fire, but the companies supporting each other worked through gaps and bombed the enemy out of his trenches, successfully securing the position by 9:40 AM. The enemy now concentrated the bombardment on the Villiers Plush, and the battalion of the 120th Brigade, which had captured the village, evacuated it, whereon the 17th Welsh pushed outposts with machine guns to cover their left flank until the village was reoccupied a few hours later. The 17th Welsh consolidated their position, marking the top of the spur on the hill, which I try to work out, and I think it's this ridge up the top here, before the village. But it was afterwards renamed the Welsh Ridge. The line was now finally established in the position from which the attack was launched onto the main Hindenburg line at the Battle of Cambrai in November 1917. The 17th Welsh took prisoners, 1 officer and 39 other ranks, while the 18th Welsh secured 29 prisoners with a loss of only 3 wounded. In their first action, the 17th and 18th Welsh had behaved very steadily and received congratulations from the commanders of the brigade, division and corps. The 17th Welsh suffered the following casualties: Captain C.T. Young and 27 other ranks. Well, my great uncle was one of the 27 other ranks. So it was his first major action. I mean, you go back through the commanding officer's diary leading up to that when they arrived in 1916, and a lot of the time they were put into quiet sectors just watching the line, that sort of stuff, but this was their first major engagement, and unfortunately it was his first and last major.
Yeah.